Hey traders, and welcome to the trading channel. Today's video is going to be about risk management, and this video was initially exclusive for EAP members and for members of my newest course, the Aggressive Entry course. But I decided to go ahead and share it with you guys here on YouTube because I've had a lot of questions about risk management and how to create a risk management plan. So today I'm going to walk you through what risk management is and how it can help us to control our emotions and stay disciplined to our trading plan. Towards the end of the video, I'll also be showing you guys some formulas that I use in a spreadsheet in order to determine drawdown and maximum drawdown, which is key information that we have to have in order to create a risk management plan. So if all that sounds interesting to you, then make sure you stick around until the end of the video. And if you're interested in learning more about that brand new course I have out, the Aggressive Entry course, then just click the link in the description below this video. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey guys, and welcome to another Aggressive Entry training video. In today's video, we'll be talking about what I consider one of the most important parts of your trading plan, and that's going to be risk management. We'll also be discussing money management a little later in the video, but before we get into the rest of this video, I do want to make sure that everyone understands that this is in no way advice on how you should create your risk management plan. In today's video, I'll share some resources that I use along with the way I've decided to create my own risk management plan, but ultimately, your risk management plan is going to be up to you and your risk tolerance as a person. Make sure you always understand the risks involved in trading before ever opening a live account. And when you're first starting out, guys, remember the best risk management is by trading a fake account. The best risk management plan is no risk at all. So with that said, I'll go ahead and let the intro and disclaimer roll, and I'll be right back to talk a little more about risk and money management plans and some of the things I've used in order to create my own plans. So sit tight, guys, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so we're going to start this video talking about what risk management is and how it affects our trading and some of the uses we have for it in our trading plan. So the risk management plan contemplates the idea of your personal risk tolerance, and in this plan you will decide how much maximum risk or your max drawdown that you are comfortable with, along with how much you're willing to risk on each specific trade. So in this plan, you're generally giving yourself rules on how much of your account you can risk. And why would we like to do this? Well, there's a few main reasons. One of which is to make sure that our account never ends up at zero. Now, there's also a flip side to that. Yes, it's great that this risk management plan saves us from losing our entire account, but if done correctly, this risk management plan will also keep you from becoming an overnight millionaire, which I know there are a lot of traders that come into the market and expect to get rich quick. And although becoming an overnight millionaire is not a practical way to think about Forex trading, getting rich quick is more of a perception. If you ask a doctor how long it took them to become financially independent, they would tell you 8 years of school, at least 2 to 4 years of paying off student loans before they were actually able to breathe again financially. So when you compare that to 2 to 3 years of studying the markets in order to try to become financially independent or try to become a professional trader, then you can comparatively become rich fast by trading in the Forex market. But if you're using the correct risk management plan, then getting rich quick will be perceived in years and not days or weeks or months. So what does risk management do for our trading? We just discussed the first thing it does. It can keep us from going broke, can keep our account from going to zero if used correctly. But just as importantly, and probably the most important part of our trading, risk management helps with psychology. Risk management helps us to control our emotions during a specific trade or during a long-term drawdown. And you may be asking, how is that? How is it that risk management can help me stay emotionally grounded while going through a drawdown? Well, if you decide to risk too much in your account per trade, ultimately during your period of drawdown, which by the way, every strategy has, there's not a strategy that exists that I've been able to find that has no drawdown. So more than likely you will hit a drawdown. And if you're risking too much capital per trade, then your drawdown may be too big for you to handle. You may start to do things out of emotion instead of based on your back testing, instead of based on your trading plan that you've created. Something you may do out of emotion would be not take the next trade because you're scared to lose more money. Or start over trading, trying to get the money back you've already lost. So risk management is set forth in order to keep us from making those two pivotal mistakes in our trading. So in essence, you could have the best strategy that there is in Forex trading, or you could be the best technical analyst, but if you cannot control your emotions and stay disciplined to a trading plan, then you will have a very hard time staying or even becoming a profitable trader. So for those reasons, risk management is probably the most important part of your trading. So what's the first way we can apply risk management to our trading? The very first way is always use risk capital. What this means is never use money, never risk money that you cannot afford to lose. This will greatly impair your judgment and ultimately could lead to your failure to become a profitable trader. So guys, what that means is if you start an account, if you decide that you want to start a live account, make sure that when you start that account, you're not using the money that it's going to take to pay the electric bill next month. You're not using your entire life savings. Use risk capital. Use an amount of money that if you were to lose it all, if your risk management plan didn't work, if your strategy stopped performing well, if you made 100 emotional mistakes and the account went to zero, you would still be okay. It would not affect you very much emotionally or financially if that happened. That's the amount of capital you need to put in if you ever decide to open a live account in trading. So the first thing we need to do is only use risk capital. That's the first part of risk management. The second part of risk management consists of how much we're willing to lose, what our max drawdown is going to be, and in just a second, we're going to head over to a spreadsheet. I'm going to show you guys how you can manipulate that with my backtesting and trading results in order to figure out how much money I want to risk per trade and to figure up my maximum drawdown. So now I hope you have a better grasp on what a risk management plan is and how you can use it in order to keep a good handle on your emotions and stay disciplined to your trading plan. So let's go ahead and head over to that spreadsheet and we'll take a look at how you can use your backtesting results and apply a risk management plan based on those results. And then finally, how we can manipulate the amount of risk per trade in order to manipulate the max drawdown and figure out how much risk we should be putting for each trade. So we'll head over to the spreadsheet now. All right, guys, so here we are on a spreadsheet. And this specific spreadsheet is my backtesting results for the Euro Aussie and the aggressive entry that I teach at the EAP and in the aggressive entry course. So what we're looking at here, and if you're already a part of one of those, then you know how to input the formulas that it takes in order to create this much of the spreadsheet, right? So we know how to input for the total amount of cash, the total amount of pips, the cash per trade, our target 1 and target 2 results, and risk per position. Not per trade. We're using two different positions here on this specific strategy, so it will be risk per position. Now today we're going to discuss what formulas we can use in order to predict drawdown and maximum drawdown, along with total equity return in percentage. And guys, if you have not been a part of the EAP or if you have not taken the aggressive entry course, then I think I may have a free YouTube video on how to do this, but I know for sure that we discussed this in great detail, how to put in the formulas in order to create a spreadsheet that looks exactly like this one. So if you're interested in learning more about that, if you'd like to be able to do this for your own backtesting and trading results, then make sure to just click the link in the description of this video labeled aggressive entry, and you'll be taken to a video that'll tell you a little more about the aggressive entry course. So I've actually just released the aggressive entry course. Is currently February 20th, and this course is open for 100 clients. So the reason I do that is so that I can give these 100 people that decide to sign up for the aggressive entry course my full undivided attention. And also I'm giving the first 100 people to sign up a half off discount on this course. So if you'd like to learn more about the aggressive entry course, then make sure to click the link in the description. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how we write out the formula to predict our drawdown per trade along with our maximum drawdown. So as you can see, we have about a year's worth of data here on the Euro Aussie aggressive entry backtesting results from September the 17th all the way to September the 15th of 2014. And again, we're coming from September 17th, 2013. So here we have our risk per position, which is going to be a main driver of our risk management plan. Now, what does this number mean? Well, right here, as you can see, we have 0.25%. And the way I use risk management is based on a percentage of my total account value. So in this case, we're risking 0.25% of our total account balance per position. As I said, this is going to be per position, not per trade, because we're risking this amount for two different positions, which would equal a 0.5% risk per trade. So in this scenario, we're risking 0.5% per trade on a $10,000 account in order to calculate our max drawdown over here and our drawdown per trade here. Now, the great thing about using a risk per position or risk per trade section in your spreadsheet is that you can manipulate your maximum drawdown, your drawdown per trade, and your total account equity just by the click of a button. So here, as you can see, if we wanted to risk a standard 2% per trade, that would be 1% per position. Change this number to 1%. We can copy and paste this down our risk per position section, and that will give us our trading results and our total account equity return based on a 2% per trade or 1% per position risk. Now, the reason this is beneficial because now you can see that our max drawdown went from around 2%, risking 0.5% per trade, to 9%, risking 2% per trade. So now we can see that if we were to risk around 2% per trade, then we can estimate that we would have to deal with about a 9% loss in the account. And we can also see that we were able to achieve a 48% return based on that risk. So how do we calculate this information? Well, first off, we'll talk about how to calculate the amount of drawdown per trade. In order to do this, we always start out with 0 because we're basing this on a $10,000 account. So of course, our first drawdown amount would be 0. Next, we have our actual formula that we'll be using in order to calculate the drawdown. And I'm going to leave this up while I explain how this formula actually works in order for you to copy the formula. So you will need a total account balance section in order to create this formula. And as you can see, we start our formulas with equals, as always in Excel. Equals, and then you would want to press the box of your total account balance directly to the left of the box you're writing your formula, which would be here. Then we're looking for the maximum number, open parentheses, of our first down to one below the trade that we're on, close parentheses, -1. As you can see, that gives us a 2% loss. Why do we have a 2% loss? Because we were risking 1% in total per position, which equals a 2% risk, and on this second trade, you can see that we lost on both positions, therefore giving us a 2% loss on the account. Now, as you can see, if we go down the list here, we're going the box directly to the left in our total account balance, and we're taking our maximum, open parentheses, of the first number in our total account balance all the way down to one below our current total account balance. We close the parentheses and subtract that by 1 in order to get our percentage. Now, doing this becomes very easy after you write out your first formula. All you have to do is click that and drag down the formula all the way to the bottom of your testing results. Once you've done that, it becomes quite easy to figure out maximum drawdown. Now, with this small of a sample size, here we have less than 60 trades on the Euro Aussie. We could easily come down here and look at this section, the drawdown section, and find our biggest drawdown. So here we have 9. Let's see if we find anything above 9.6. We do not. So that was quite simple, right? Considering that we only had 50 or so trades. Well, let's consider that with 1,000 trades. Let's say personally, I normally trade between 6 and 8 pairs. So if we had 8 pairs at 50 trades a piece per year, and let's say we tested 2 years instead of 1 year of data, we'd be looking at over 1,000 trades. So it would become very difficult to just go down the list here and remember what your biggest number was. It's a lot easier to write out this formula that we have for max drawdown, which is going to be the minimum of our entire column of drawdown. So we take minimum, then we put in parentheses the entire column of drawdown. And the reason we're looking for the minimum, guys, is because we're looking for the largest negative number, which is going to be the minimum of that entire column. Hit equals, and that will give you the minimum or your maximum drawdown for that entire section of tested data. And as we discussed, you can manipulate that by changing your risk per position. And I do believe I have a video on how to calculate the rest of this somewhere here on my YouTube channel. If not, as I said, I go over this in detail in all of my courses for my clients. So if you're interested in learning more about it, make sure to click the link to learn a little more about the aggressive entry course. And as you can see, guys, when it comes to these testing results right here, we see a 48% return. And if you were a little less risk tolerant, let's say you were someone who did not like the fact that you have a 9% risk, you can just manipulate this number until you were comfortable with that maximum drawdown in order to create a risk management plan. So just by copying and pasting 0.5% per position. Now we have a max drawdown of 4.9%, an equity return of 22% over the period of 1 year on the Euro Aussie using the aggressive entry strategy. So that's how you can take the information from a spreadsheet, manipulate the risk per position in order to figure out what your maximum drawdown is going to be, and in order to find out what your comfortable risk tolerance is. As I said, if you're someone who's less risk tolerant, then go even smaller with the risk per position number. If you're someone who is more focused on making the maximum amount of returns and it doesn't bother you if you have a very large drawdown or a very large risk during your trading, then you could just as easily take this number and bump it up a notch to, let's say, a 2% per position or 4% risk in total. And this would create a much larger drawdown, which I'm not necessarily comfortable with, at around 18%, but your equity return becomes over a 100% return. So again, it's completely up to your risk tolerance, and creating a spreadsheet this way using the formulas that I've shown you today can help you figure up what kind of risk you want to be using per trade. Alright traders, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this video here because I don't like for these videos on YouTube to go much further than 15 or 20 minutes, but if you are still interested in hearing about the resources I use to calculate my position size, then that information is mentioned in the video that you can get to by clicking the link in the description below this video labeled Aggressive Entry Course. There, I will not only be sharing with you the resources that I use to determine position sizing in order to help me with my risk management goals, but also I'll be talking to you guys more about the aggressive entry course, the details of what you get with that course and the pricing of that course, along with some changes that I've made to the EAP, which is an educational and mentor program that I currently run for my website. So if you're interested in any of those, then make sure to click the link in the description below this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was educational for you. Comment and let me know what you'd like me to do a video on next. If you're new to the channel, make sure to click that subscribe button. Click that like button if you enjoyed it before you go, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Isn't easy to show with the weight of the world on my shoulders. I know I told you it's the best slide I know. It's not a game that I am playing. My love, trying to hold my feeling. I don't know what's right. I'll find the best way. I think that I might. I know you made it in the nick of time. I'm calling on you. I think we're made of something. I think we're made of something. I keep my time in a pocket. I wanna find a new keeper. I like the way it's mysterious. I think I found my own way. Isn't easy to show with the weight of the world on my shoulders. I know I told you it's the best slide I know. It's not a game that I am playing. My love, trying to hold my feeling. I don't know what's right. I'll find the best way. I think that I might.